And let's go. Great morning! Good morning! Fantastic, glorious, marvelous. Huh? Good morning, great morning. God. Oh, Edwina, slow down. Our Creator touched us this morning and said, rise, rise. He put his breath in our lungs. Woo! That's what A.J. Harding just talked about. Please join him every morning. Coffee with A.J. Harding. He said God puts his breath in our lungs and we can breathe. So for that alone, and that we are awake right now, to say thank you, thank you, thank you for giving us just this day, this moment, this second, right now. We praise you, we acknowledge you, we give you the honor, the glory, the hallelujah, woo, and give you back the love that you so freely give to us. All right, so welcome to January the 12th Perspective, right, with Edwina B., Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops lady, as you can see, right? These are the different masks I wear every day to demonstrate that the mask must come off, right? So my Alcoholics Anonymous daily reflection of 32 plus years. It'll be 33 in another few weeks, February the 23rd. So I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud, humble, and grateful member for close to 33 years. So you know doggone well I'm happy and I'm grateful, right? And I'm going to also be sharing with you from my perspective how I, right, interject the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family. I finally got their name right, right? And so with the 2 resources that I've been using together recently has taken me to a spiritual level that I'm a rocket. I'm on fire. Can't you tell? All right, so the format for today, as usual, is I share the daily reflections, and today's topic is accepting our present circumstances, incorporating, wait a minute now, incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ueasy family, remember? And so, but before I get started, I always like to do a moment of meditation, just to kind of slow me down and to help put you in the mood. All right. So we're going to tap into one of my favorite songs. I have 2 of them. Your grace and mercy brought me through. I'm living this moment because of you. I want to praise you and thank you too. For it was your grace. Hold on, y'all. And let me not do that to God. Y'all just hold on a second. Oh, no, no, no. Let me get this thing going. All right. All right. All right. Listen, recovery teaches you how to hit that pause button, okay? And when you hit that pause button, you don't have a problem with waiting because of what you want to be able to do. So I'm not going to cheat God. I'm going to get this thing together. I didn't do it before I got on, so that's my fault. All right. And so y'all just bear with me because I will not rush my God. He's been and is too good to me. All right. So y'all come on. All right. Okay. I'm getting the YouTube channel and I'm going to find a way to include it. Okay. So let's see. Hold on, y'all. All right. So while that is loading, I just want to again welcome you to January the 12th Perspective with Edwina B. Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops on the AA Daily Reflection reading for today, accepting our present circumstances and now incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family. All right, come on, YouTube. All right. You know what? When it comes up, we'll do it. So I don't really need the music. I just need to quiet my mind. So join me. turn off the radio, the TV, turn your phone off, and let's just give a moment of silence to how our higher power, who I choose to call God. All right? A moment of silence. Okay. All right. And guess what? That thing is still loading, right? So now I need to share with you that what you see is a mask. I've worn masks all of my life. And as far as back as I can remember. And so, with the principles of the 12 spiritual principles of the AA program. So I don't represent Alcoholics Anonymous, as you know, but I've been able to learn slowly but surely all of those masks that I've been wearing all my life, right? And still capable of doing today, as you can see. But I recognize that I am wearing a mask, whereas before I didn't, because I was trying to please this person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person, and never knowing who Edwina is, right? And so on February the 22nd of 1990, I found out who Edwina wasn't. I tell you that, because 3 o'clock in the morning in the streets of Philadelphia, I was getting high, doing all kind of sexual favors with my stepson, and he proceeded to want to beat me up like any bitch in the street. I jumped out the car. He swung at me one time, hit me, and I started running for my life, right? I got a flashback from my past. If I get underneath the bed, they can't get me. They can't hurt me. I can play hide and seek. So as I was running and I saw the slew of cars, I said, if I just get underneath that parked car, he can't get to me. That's where at that time, the lost Edwina, the unidentifiable Edwina. That's when the Edwina who felt as though something was wrong with her, right? Just put herself underneath a parked car. My face was literally on the ground. If I looked up, I saw the bottom of the car. And that's when that particular Edwina hollered out to a God that she didn't know, heard about, right? But she was taught that he was a punishing God. And so at the end of her road, that Edwina, right? That was her knee bowing experience. And she opened up her mouth and her tongue confessed that whoever they say you are, take me out this life now or show me a better way, right? That was that Edwina. And when I realized that God did not take me out, who I still didn't know, but I cried out for him to make the choice, not this, not that Edwina. And lo and behold, he accepted me just the way I was. Dirty, stinking, like a stinking rotten onion. He accepted me just the way I was. He came and met me underneath that parked car. He was there all the time, right? And so he accepted me just the way I am. And so, as a result of practicing these 12 spiritual principles, one day at a time in my life for close to 33 years, I've learned to take off the mask, and the real spirit, God-given spirit of Edwina is showing up. So take off the mask. Yes. Take it off. You don't need it. God accepts you just the way you are. He accepts you just the way you are. It is so freeing. And more freeing is what? This. Oh, that's why they call me Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. Because I love Edwina today. Because I learned that my God saved me, delivered me, and prepared me to sit before you as transparent as I can. If I could, I would take off. No, okay, okay, all right. I told you I'm go for pops, right? That's why God uses me, because He made me. He know what I'm about, and so I am finding the authentic Edwina. I am finding the true Edwina. I am finding the light of Edwina. Why? Because they were all given to me by my Creator. So transparency, it was done for me, and I'm doing it for you. So I'm putting these into articulator, right? Uh, uh, uh. So now that that's over, I did something yesterday, and many of you know I've been doing this for, I'll just kind of put this up a little bit, right? I love my gray hair. And I've been doing something for the last few years, sharing the 12 steps with you, doing the daily reflections. And now I came across this book called The Four Agreements, even though there are now five, right, by the Ruiz family. And I believe that it was divinely put where I could get a hold of it, because God knows I seek wisdom. I seek spiritual wisdom. And so before I go into the topic today, let me give you a little recap, not a recap. Let me give you a couple of paragraphs of the four agreements, now five, that captivated me, and I haven't been able to put it down, and I haven't stopped incorporating it in my 12-step spiritual journey. So listen, it's called Domestication and the Dream of the Planet. What you are seeing and hearing right now is nothing but a dream. You are dreaming right now in this moment. You are dreaming with the brain awake. Dreaming is the main function of the mind, and the mind dreams 24 hours a day. It dreams when the brain is awake, and it also dreams when the brain is asleep. The difference is that when the brain is awake, there is a maternal frame that there is a material frame that makes us perceive things in a linear way. When we go to sleep, we do not have that frame, and the dream has the tendency to change constantly. Humans are dreaming all the time. Before we were born, the humans before us created a big outside dream that we will call society's dream or the dream of the planet. The dream of the planet is the collective dream of billions of smaller personal dreams, which together create a dream of a family, a dream of a community, a dream of a city, a dream of a country, and finally, a dream of the whole humanity. The dream of the planet includes all of society's rules, its beliefs, its laws, its religions, its different cultures and ways to be in government and schools, social events, and holidays. We are born with the capacity to learn how to dream, and the humans who lived before us teach us how to dream the way society dreams. The outside dream has so many rules that when a human is born, we hook the child's attention and introduce these rules into his or her mind. The outside dream uses mom and dad, the schools, and religion to teach us how to dream. Attention is the ability we have to discriminate and to focus only on that which we want to perceive. We can perceive millions of things simultaneously, but using our attention, we can hold whatever we want to perceive in the foreground of our mind. The adults around us hooked our attention and put information into our minds through repetition. That is the way we learned everything we know. Woo! Y'all got you listen. Go to Miguel, MIGUEL RUIZ.org and do your own research. I had to read that book over and over again. and I had to go online and listen with my spiritual ear to the authors, right? And it reminded me of the 12-step program and our co-founders and all of the stories that have been told over the years of how to help people, right, stay sober and help another alcoholic achieve sobriety just one day at a time. So you see why I'm on fire. Okay, so now the 5 agreements that I did yesterday, I'm just going to do it briefly again, right? I'm going to show you, right, how and what they are talking about, right? So let's add it to the screen. And the 5 agreements that they were talking about is, right, being impeccable with your word, right? Don't take anything personally, okay? And it says, don't make assumptions. Always do your best and be skeptical, but learn to listen. So I'm going to do all of those while we do the reading for the day. So let's do the reading for the day. Daily reflections, accepting our present circumstances. And our co-founder, Bill W., quotes, our very first problem is to accept our present circumstances as they are, ourselves as we are, and the people about us as they are. This is to adopt a realistic humility without which no genuine advance can even begin. Again and again, we shall need to return to that unflattering point of departure. This is an exercise in acceptance that we can profitably practice every day of our lives, provided we strenuously avoid turning these realistic surveys of the facts of life into unrealistic alibis for apathy or defeatism. They can be the sure foundation upon which increased emotional health and therefore spiritual progress can be built. This is as Bill sees it, page 44. And the person in recovery shares his perspectives. He writes, when I am having a difficult time accepting people, places, or events, I turn to this passage and it relieves me of many an underlying fear regarding others or situations life presents me. The thought allows me to be human and not perfect and to regain my peace of mind. All right? Accepting our present circumstances. That's why, for me, I recognize I don't need the mask. I don't need the makeup. That is not who I am. They are masks, which, as I read, society has convinced me that I can't be who I am. And most of us don't even know who we are because of the influence and the application of those we were brought up around. And that's why the 4th step inventory teaches us, no, Edwin, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You need to know what happened to you. You need to know what beliefs and what cultures and what this and what that help to formulate you, your ideas, your beliefs, your actions, your attitudes, your behaviors, right? Go back and find out what happened. And then through the 5 agreements, you get a chance now that we are adults to find out the truth, whether you agree with them or not. And this way you can utilize your own spiritual development to question some things that you were taught. All right. And so the serenity prayer is what we use a lot of times in this respect. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Right. So when the topic says accepting our present circumstances, what are your present circumstances, right? Are you breathing? Yes. Are you awake? Yes. Are you in your home, at work? Where are you on the road? Accept your present circumstances, okay? Now that's in the immediate, right? And so when we go beyond that, accept our present circumstances. We live in this country, right? We live in this neighborhood. We work at this organization. We go to this church, our present circumstances. But where are you spiritually? Where am I spiritually? What is my present circumstances spiritually? I love Donald Lawrence when he said, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. No, you are a spiritual being encased in walking this natural experience on earth. And the 5 agreements, honey, they said that we are artists. And the canvas is our life. And we get to create once we have begin to search for the real meaning of spirituality and oneness and all of the things that we are connected to. So when they talk about we dream when we sleep and we dream when we wake, listen, I dream so much. I'll be like, wow. But to recognize that I'm dreaming right now, that this moment, this second too shall pass, and it may come back in my dreams later on, I don't know. But accepting our present situations, our present circumstances, acceptance. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, courage to change the people that I can, the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is me. All right, so let's get into what our co-founder has to say. All right, so he says, our very first problem is to accept our present circumstances as they are, ourselves as we are, and the people about us as they are. Now, in recovery, they teach us how to focus on ourselves first. And so I had to enter the process of recovery and entered the process of a progression of my disease of alcoholism and now a progression of recovery, right? And so when I realized underneath that parked car that I wanted to die or he had to show me a better way, I accepted that challenge. I accepted that choice and I haven't looked back since, right? And so with the first agreement being impeccable with my word, I said, listen, if God keeps me sober, I want to be able to share just like that young lady who touched my life. She was impeccable with her word. She told the truth. She didn't sugarcoat nothing. And she shared the solution and shared positivity under some negative situations. Okay. So he goes on to say, this is to adopt a realistic humility without which no genuine advance can even begin. Do you know what humility is? Huh? I'll give you my example. What is more humiliating than being underneath a parked car? Cats and dogs get underneath a parked car. So through a humiliating experience, and I had a whole lot of them, but this one was the one. It was a combination, right? All of those other ones led to the one. This was the most humiliating experience. I ain't talking about the rapes. I ain't talking about the setups. I ain't talking about being spit on, called all kinds of names. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about being underneath a parked car. How humiliating can that be? And through that humiliation, I cried out. Now I know it was humility. Realizing I need help, right? And so that's what helps me get in touch with humility. How humble are you, right? Then he goes on to say, again and again, we shall need to return to that unflattering point of departure. Listen, be impeccable with my word, right? I recognize where I was nearly 33 years ago. I don't want to go back. I'm not going to sin against myself. I'm not going to sin against those that are about me. I'm going to practice not doing that because I want everybody to be able to find themselves through whatever journey their creator has designed for them to go through. So being impeccable with my word, right? And so I am committed to recovery. I am in love with recovery. I am in love with my God, and I'm in love in a positive way with it, Weena. That's why I can take off all the masks, right? And so again and again, when our ego and when pride wants to rear its head, and it often does, I remember, my hands was up like this, and then life comes and the mask come, and I remember underneath that park car, and I humble myself again. So I have to always remember where I came from in order to go forward. But more importantly, to utilize what's presently here before me to make the right decision and the right spiritual decision. Okay. All right. So then he goes on to say, right, this is an exercise in acceptance that we can profitably practice every day of our life. This is an exercise in acceptance. Did you hear me? And so, with the 5 agreements, be impeccable with your word. Don't sin against yourself and practice not sinning against others. Don't take anything personally. Through our years of giving the attention or having the attention of other people, right? How much we gave of ourselves and how much of their opinion mattered. And when you come from a family of 6 children and 2 parents, all of them have opinions. We trying to please all of them. Who is the real Edwina, right? So everything everybody said, we took personally, and we acted accordingly, right? Because we were fearful of not being accepted. We were fearful of being rejected. We were fearful of being abandoned and all that, right? So now I am learning to not take anything personally. Why? Because it's that person's opinion. All right. And then it says, provided we strenuously avoid turning these realistic surveys of the facts of life into unrealistic alibis for apathy or defeatism, they can be the sure foundation upon which increased emotional health and therefore spiritual progress can be built. And so the third agreement, it says, don't make any assumptions. Do listen. I am so grateful that I didn't know what was ahead of me, right? Because if I knew what was ahead of me, my insecurities, my abandonment issues, my low self-esteem would have said, I can't, right? And so God has this infinite wisdom that he says, no. You don't know what I have for you. You don't know what I'm preparing you for. You don't know what you were created for. But I'm going to show you if you just yield to me. Like you did underneath that park car. You say, take me out this life or show me a better way. I'm showing you a better way for the purpose of helping somebody else. And I am helping somebody else. Even I know that I'm helping myself. So I practice not making assumptions about nothing. People tell you, I ask a question in a minute, right? And I don't mind you asking me a question if you ready for the truth, right? So no more lying, no more scheming, no more all of that, unnecessary mess, right? Because these 12 spiritual principles is teaching me, has taught me, and will continue to teach me. Be transparent, be authentic, learn to be your true self and become the light of the world like your God is to you and to me. Okay, I got but a couple minutes, all right? And so when the gentleman talks about when I am having a difficult time accepting people, places, and things, I turn to this passage and it relieves me of many of underlying fear regarding others or situation life presents to me. Woo! When Donald Lawrence said that, listen, we don't know what cards life is going to deal us anytime during the day. We really don't know, right? And so the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and all the other 12 steps that utilize the same spiritual principles teach us not to give anything or anybody that much power ever again to take us back to that prediction, that predicament, that addiction. And for me, underneath that park car, no human power, right? No human power could have relieved my alcoholism, but God could and would if he were sought, and I cried out for him to help me, and he did. I refuse to tell God to kiss my behind. No, no, no. And so when I realized that God, life is dealing me a hand, I look up, I recall, I repeat, I stay, I do the serenity prayer. I know what spiritual tools are available to me that I can use. It's one thing to know them, but you got to use them because they work. AJ Hardy talking about, making a deposit, right? So in recovery, you do the same thing. When we have great days, we put those days in the bank, right? And when life gives us a challenge, I know I need to go get a withdrawal from the bank. Because I know I got some spiritual tools there that I can use, right? And so that's what we mean by being able to wear the world like a loose garment. And not give anything or anybody that much power to remove you where God has placed you, to stop you from doing what God has designed for you to do. Do you think I would be sitting up here with no teeth, no wig? Right? If it wasn't for my Creator said I'd accept you just the way you are, the 5 agreements saying, listen, be impeccable. Don't take nothing personally. Don't make no assumption. And guess what, Edwina? You'll do the best that you can in every situation. I'm doing the best that I can right now. Why? Because I am authentic and I am transparent. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And so I ain't got but a minute now. In closing, the gentleman says, the thought allows me to be human and not perfect and to regain my peace of mind. Oh, my, my, my. Oh, my, my, my. Oh, my, my, my. I thought I had peace, but this peace that I have and have been recently receiving, I can't put into words. And anytime you see me share tears, honey, there are always tears of joy, tears of gratitude. Yes, I'm in love with this recovery process. I'm in love with life because if this is a dream, as the Ruiz family say it is, then I, while I'm alive, can make my dreams come true. And so can you. All right, I got to go. It's time for me to go to my meeting. So amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, and now I see. Acceptance is the key to all things.